Hello guys, and welcome to Roadworks. This is the hotel where we are staying. This one is about hidden lighthouses, abandoned places, strange rock formations, and a few unexpected surprises. Welcome to the wild side of Porto. Let's head now to the seaside. We are at the military hospital bus stop. Basically, we will start from here and we will drop off here. Today we are taking a simple city bus to see where Porto meets the Atlantic Ocean. Right, thank you. Okay.
Porto has a bus straight to the Atlantic Ocean. The STCP 202 bus is one of the useful tourist routes in Porto because it connects the city center with the ocean area. The full route has 30 stops and takes roughly 35 to 40 minutes end to end depending on traffic. It's basically a local Porto route. You start in the elegant city center and finish by the ocean.
After 40 minutes, Porto completely changed. The busy streets disappeared and we arrived at a much calmer side of the city. Right, we've got off the bus and in front we have a pretty nice park with pretty interesting water fountains like the one in front. Also, have a look at this one. What a nice piece of art we have in front. Looks simple, but in reality isn't. This park's name is exactly the same as the bus stop, Passeio Alegre. They also have a pretty nice entertainment area here.
On our walk to the seaside, looks like we are welcomed by a mini castle, which is basically a normal house here. Another thing we've noticed is the simplicity of the narrow streets.
Heading now to Felgueiras lighthouse. Right, I see here 3 lighthouses. I think the one we are looking for is that one. Walking on this cliff is indeed amazing. I mean, have a look what a view we have from here. Now let's see what's there.
As first impression, I thought it's a church, but by reaching closer to it, looks like this is another lighthouse that holds a piece of Porto's maritime history. This is actually Farolim de Cantareira, or in English, Cantareira Lighthouse. It stands next to the old lifeboat station, a place that helped protect ships entering the dangerous point, where the Douro River meets the Atlantic Ocean.
In English, this means Institute for the Rescue of Shipwrecked Persons. Right, and I believe on the back of it, this is their docking area. Pretty nice place they have here.
At first, this looks like a tidy yellow house by the river, but this is actually Porto's old tide gauge, measuring the power of the Atlantic Ocean. In more details, measures the height of the sea tide level, records how the Atlantic tide rises and falls, helps with navigation and harbor operations, and provides data useful for coastal monitoring and sea level studies. Before WhatsApp, before radios, before GPS, Porto was literally talking with ships using flags. A sailor approaching from the ocean would check this mast first. The wrong signal meant don't enter. The Atlantic is too dangerous today.
You see that house in front? Looks like a fortress. Let's have a closer look. Right, so here it says it's basically a castle. So I'm curious if I can get some images from here. Okay, I have reviewed the images and looks like they have a tennis court inside. I believe this is the entrance for it. And from here we've got a better view of this castle. Nice area they have here though. We are now closer and closer to the lighthouse.
And after the old signal mast, we finally reached one of Porto's most iconic places, the Felgueiras lighthouse. Standing at the very end of the pier, this lighthouse has been facing the Atlantic Ocean for more than 100 years, guiding ships approaching the entrance of the Douro River. This is the place where Atlantic Ocean and Douro River meet. This location was extremely important because the old entrance to Porto was dangerous. Huge Atlantic waves, foggy conditions, strong winds, and underwater sandbanks near the river mouth. Ships arriving to Porto would use the lighthouse as a reference point to safely approach the river. Today, this lighthouse is no longer the main guide for ships. Modern navigation systems replaced its original role, but now it has a new mission, becoming one of Porto's best places to watch the power of the Atlantic. When the storms hit Porto, waves can completely cover this lighthouse, showing that even after more than a century, the battle between Porto and the Atlantic is still going.
This lighthouse wasn't built here just for the view. It was built because the coastline was once extremely dangerous.
Imagine if a boat will hit those rocks. Just a few steps away from the lighthouse, we discovered this unusual sculpture dedicated to Portuguese writer Ferreira de Castro. At first, it looks random, but every detail tells a story. The child represents humanity moving forward, the birds represents freedom, and the compass finding direction. Standing beside the Atlantic, it connects perfectly with the idea of journeys, hope, and finding your way. Ferreira de Castro was a Portuguese writer who traveled the world and wrote about humanity, freedom, and the struggles of ordinary people.
Let's explore a little bit this seaside. Looks quite rocky, which makes it more interesting. Would you choose having this type of traveling? Drop a comment as we would like to know. Right, we found some starfish.
The black one there. Oh, look, that purple one. That's amazing, that.
Looks like this beach has a lot of starfish. Let's now get closer to that rocky structure from there. Close enough? Looks like on the backside of these rocks we've got an abandoned building. As can be seen, this is another amazing view. We've got rock formations also there, and here's a spot for the aliens landing. Anyway, look how these rocks got eroded. You see these small holes?
Between these rocks we found another hidden detail. This appears to be a boat support structure, most likely connected with the old maritime activity from here.
Let's see those rocky structures as well. Nice. This is getting more and more interesting land-wise or landscape-wise. I do like these rock formations. I'll say the visit here really worth every penny. And here's the view from the top of these rocks.
Right next to the cliff, we've got a pretty interesting architectural contrast. See this tiny house in front? It feels like a little piece of history surrounded by all these modern buildings.
And this is the view from the top of this abandoned building. I believe it was a kind of a restaurant. Now let's stop for a beer. This is the place we have chosen.
You cannot visit Porto without meeting Superboc. Born in 1927, this became the iconic beer of northern Portugal. Superboc is basically part of Porto culture.
11 Sports Bar was fine. Good prices they have here.
This bus stop is the location of this bar, in case anyone's interested. This is the view in front of it. Good vibe this place has. Now let's head back to the city center.
Right, thank you.
Preciso um bocado de tristeza, então não se faz um bom samba não. Fazer samba não é uma piada, quem faz samba assim não é de nada. Um bom samba é uma forma de oração. Pois o samba é a tristeza que balança. A tristeza tem sempre uma esperança. A tristeza tem sempre uma esperança de um dia não ser mais triste não. Vai ver que ninguém no mundo vence a beleza que tem bom samba não. Pois o samba nasceu na minha se hoje ele é branco na poesia, se hoje ele é branco na poesia, ele é preto demais no coração.
So guys, if you like the video, subscribe.